Welcome to my first episode of Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk, where we're going to talk about some of the hottest topics in sports. We have a good one for you guys today, so let's get into it. All right, you guys, let's get into it. The first topic today, which I think is happening right now as we speak, is the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Who is going to win it? Let's get started and welcome some of my amazing guests. Let's get it going. All right, let's start with Edward. Introduce yourself.
Edward Sims, diehard Duke Blue Devils, Bears, Chicago Cubs fan, and a longtime lover of Larry the Legend Bird.
Chris.
Hello, everyone. I share Edward's passion for the Duke Blue Devils, but also I'm pulling for the Utah Jazz. Love all the sports equally and look forward to communicating with everyone tonight.
And Jared.
All right, hello everybody. I am Jared. I am not a Duke fan. I'm a Lakers fan, and I think you'll see who's gonna win this year now that my Lakers are out.
All right, and I was rooting for the Lakers because I'm a LeBron James fan, so I was rooting for him. So let's get started, guys. First topic: who's winning the series out of the Bucks and Nets? What are you guys thinking?
I think that one's easy. I think the Nets definitely are going to win it. You know, the Nets should have this in the bag. You know, I know James Harden went down with his hamstring, but I think they could still pull it out.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I think that for the Nets, I'm still indecisive about this series because I believe to me that James Harden is the most important player. Just by how he's elevated his game and how he's able to assist. If he's not healthy, I do have Bucks in 7 slightly.
Yeah, I see James is definitely the orchestrator. He definitely makes everything go. So I can see how you can feel that, but I don't know. I just feel like Giannis has a mental block. You know, whenever he goes up against, KD or LeBron or anybody, he just has his mental block. And I don't know, they're gonna need everybody else to step up because we know what Giannis can do. So everyone else will have to step up.
I agree with Jared. I think the game of the series may go in 6. I think it's going to be 5, but I'll say 6. I think the Nets have too many weapons, and James Harden absolutely a lot goes through him. But we also saw how Blake Griffin really had a recognizance, and he really showed some flashes of how he was when he was a little younger. I just think the Nets have way too many weapons, so I see the series wrapping up in 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, that's like Jared said, I without a total team effort from Milwaukee, I don't think they're gonna get past Brooklyn 5 or 6 games at best. I mean, Kevin Durant is a killer, so is Kyrie. With or without James Harden, if James Harden's there and those 3 are playing together, it would be an easy sweep, I think.
Yeah, I think game 2 right now, I think we're really going to see if Brooklyn wins tonight, then I'll probably change that. But just James Harden's a huge piece, like a very huge piece. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know. But that one is very close. It's very close to me.
Yeah, Harden frees Kyrie up to not be a point guard and be more of a creator and a shooting guard. And I think Kyrie is a great point guard, but I think he wants to be more of a shooter. And with Harden there, it definitely facilitates that. And I mean, they haven't played a lot of games together, so they're used to playing at full strength this season. It would be nice to be able to see those 3, because I think that would be that trilogy that could really make a run deep for a couple of years. Something that I think we've been kind of waiting to see. When LeBron went down to Miami and his 3, I think we expected a lot more. I think we expected a lot more of the 3 that were Boston. So I think if they stayed together, 4 or 5 years, they could put together, back-to-back championships. But it's a lot of egos on that team too.
Yeah.
Save for Kevin Durant. I don't think Kevin Durant has a huge ego. I think he just lets his game talk for himself more than anything else. But Harden's a little bit of a hard guy. He forced his way out of Houston. So if they can stay together and be happy with each other, it would be a great relationship.
Question: do you guys like this Brooklyn team? Out of all the super teams we've seen the past couple of years, do you like this Brooklyn team together?
Honestly, I didn't think they were going to work at all. When I first heard the trade, James Harden going over there, I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. Too many ball handlers, too many scorers. And what about the rest of the team? Like, they're not even going to touch the ball. But I don't know. Somehow they've made it work. I mean, James Harden's getting 15 assists here, 20 here, 14, 10. So he's passing the ball and making it work. So I'm impressed.
I agree. And, one of the bigger surprises for me, too, is when you're looking at that much talent, and the corresponding egos. And you couple that with the fact that you had a first-time head coach in Steve Nash. I mean, phenomenal career, just an overall phenomenal player. And that does not necessarily translate to being a phenomenal coach. But I think the way he has been able to manage, expectations and manage the talent, I think he's really done a very good job of really keeping everything together. Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised, that they even brought Blake Griffin in. I think that, Blake, had certainly had a great career with the Clippers and, up and down with the Detroit Pistons. But I was a little surprised when they brought him on board. And I just didn't see how that was going to fit. But I think that when Harden went down yesterday, I go back to what I said. He had 18 points, and he really showed some flashes of where he was earlier in his career. So it just goes back to if they can work with each other, if they can play with one another, and recognize that the ultimate goal is the title and not individual awards, then I think I can see them in the finals this year.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win this year, but I think they'll be in the finals this year.
Oh, you don't think they're going to win it this year?
I don't see them winning it this year. No.
Oh.
Yeah, we can. I heard your Utah talk, and I'm surprised with them. So,
Utah looks dangerous. They do.
Well, that's going to be. I know that was not a series we were going to talk about, but I think Utah and the Clippers is going to be a very interesting series. Mm-hmm. I think the Clippers really, came back from the dead, if you will, against the Dallas Mavericks. They came together, and I think if what had happened last year had happened this year, it would have just added to, just a devastating effect, with the talent they have on that team. So, frankly, I'm really looking forward to that series, and I see Utah taking that series in 7.
Now, we all know the only reason Chris is saying Utah is going to win is because he likes their coach, Quinn Snyder.
I'm a huge Quinn
Snyder fan.
You
can't even name one player on the team. You just like Quinn Snyder and his slick back hair and his nice suits. That's all there is to it.
No, Utah is a complete
we have a couple more subjects you want. Couple more subjects you wanted to get to. Maybe one more minute on this one and go to the one that's going to cause all the controversy tonight.
Oh, yeah. But I think just looking at this NBA, I'm a huge LeBron fan. I've always seen LeBron in the finals and all that stuff. So I'm a little hurt. But it's something to see a lot of these young guys like Devin Booker and how he showed up against the Lakers. And just I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Just seeing new faces. I think that's the biggest thing for me is seeing new faces, a lot of new faces in these moments.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I mean, it's always good. It's been amazing watching LeBron get to the finals year after year, but it'll be nice to see some new faces and kind of see what other people can do and, shine and get their moment. So, we all saw what happened with the Lakers. So, it is what it is. And,
it's always good to have a fresh take.
A little sad, a little history. I haven't always been the biggest fan. I was the biggest Kobe fan, so I wasn't the biggest LeBron fan. But after Kobe passed and LeBron's taken over, had to pass it on to LeBron. So he's been doing his thing. So But yeah, I'm a little salty about my Lakers this year. But it was tough. It's a tough NBA right now. It's a real tough.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
They should go get Damian Lillard.
Need Dame. They should have got him
Just saying.
2 years ago.
So, Jared, let me ask you this: who do you think is going to get Coach of the Year this year?
The Phoenix coach for sure. Phoenix coach. I mean, look what how did that happen? I mean, they just got it together. I mean, I know Chris Paul, he's a great leader, but I mean, he put together a great team, and he's been getting these young guys motivated, and whatever he's been telling them has been working. Devin Booker, we know he's going to do every night, but everybody else has been playing well.
I think there's so many opportunities. I mean, Atlanta being what they are, the Knicks, getting their seed where they were. I mean, there's so many opportunities for it. There's so many good coaches, at least this year. Like, it's an actual hard decision, because there's a lot of teams that we weren't expecting to see in the second round that are here right now, and it's not like they were in playing games. They were. I think what the Knicks were a 4 seed, even though they got bounced early. But I mean, they did a lot of work. Tom Thibodeau. It'll probably go to. I mean, I would like to see it go to Quinn Snyder, but I think any of the coaches this year that have done amazing jobs and turned everybody around, and will definitely deserve it.
Yeah, I agree, but it's going to Quinn. I think this is Quinn's year.
All right, are you guys ready for the biggest? I think this is the biggest question of the night to me.
Absolutely.
GOAT debate between Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. Who is the bigger GOAT in their respective sports?
Well, who are you going to let answer that one first?
Well, I guess I can kind of start. I'll start a little bit, because I think Brady's career isn't done yet, so he can add to it. He can still add to his resume. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like it has to go to Brady, because I feel like Jordan's GOAT title has been challenged so frequently. It's been like, I feel like people have been close to it with Kobe, Bron, and I don't know. I just feel like I think Brady just has it. Look what he's done, just time and time again, play after play, moment after moment, just making it happen. I mean, this past Super Bowl without Bill Belichick, like he's the one that makes this whole thing go around, and we saw that. And everybody knows it, and it just goes to show you that Brady's the man, and I think he's definitely the greatest of all time.
Jared, I'm not going to disagree with you. One thing I will say, though, in Jordan's favor, that LeBron can't lay claim to, Tom Brady can't lay claim to. Every finals that Jordan played in, he won.
Yeah,
he 6-0.
Yeah.
I think what hurt Jordan was the fact of those 2 years that he spent in Washington. I think that took a little luster out of his career. He still, if you look at his stats, they were very respectable. And I think, average 20 or 21 points a game for everyone else would be considered a phenomenal year. That was an off year for him.
Yeah.
But if you consider that Tom Brady in his 42, 43 years old, went to another team that had not really done well the previous year and led them to a Super Bowl, that to me cements his position as the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan's great. I don't take anything from him, again.
No, I don't either.
But Brady, he just, and trust me, I bet against Brady every year. I bet against Brady. The past 2 years I haven't, because I learned my lesson the past 8 years. So the past 2 years I haven't, but every year before that I bet against him and I've lost. So Brady owes me some money.
I think I agree with Chris when you said about the Wizards. When he finished up with the Wizards, I'm leaning, because they're both great. They are both great, but I'm leaning towards Jordan for the sake of, for one, he is undefeated in a championship compared to Tom Brady. Tom Brady has lost 3. And when you look at Jordan, I feel like Jordan can impact both sides of the floor, where Brady can only stay in that pocket. And I think that even though Brady's been exceptional with that, coming back, we've seen what he's able to do. But when you look at Jordan can go across the floor, shoot up a jumper, dunk, and then come back and play defense. And I think that's why I feel like his case is strong. And then as far as impact, he didn't just impact, to me, basketball. He impacted like a lot of other players, a lot of other sports teams, a lot of other sports in general, and just how he is across the world, and especially with the Air Jordans. It's funny that I say that because I've never seen this man play. He was before my time. My parents seen him play. So it's like I'm saying that I've seen every Super Bowl Brady has been in. So I'm just saying that I would give a slight edge to Jordan just based off of that and his impact and just how he could alter the game at any point in time on both sides of the floor.
Well, that's why I think it's a hard comparison with the two sports, because of course he's going to play offense and defense, but Brady's in the most important position in the game as a quarterback, and he's making those plays. So, and it's like if Brady doesn't play well, the team doesn't play well, And as for in basketball, it's like the other players can help pick it up. So that's why it's kind of a hard comparison. But as far as influence goes, Jordan definitely takes the influence rating, to kind of push him over the edge if that's what's going to do it.
Right. Well, and go ahead, Edward. I'm sorry.
I'm anybody who knows me knows that I am an avid Jordan hater. I don't think he's the greatest of all time in basketball. However, the stats that they always throw at me are pretty astounding. 6-0 in championship games, six Finals MVPs. He was as much of a guarantee in the finals as anything you could possibly find in the 90s. Like he dominated the 90s. What he did with his shoe, the Air Jordans, and what he's been able to accomplish with that, and the sheer number of other celebrities or athletes that he's that he's pulled under his wing and made their own, like the Griffey and all these. If you want to talk just overall over everything outside of the sport, I think Jordan, he did it the right way. I mean, he turned a shoe contract into a multi-million, billion-dollar industry for him. I mean, that's you can't stop that. I mean, he is synonymous with basketball. His shoe more so, I think Air Jordans are slightly more popular than Nikes in general. You know what I mean? Like people always, so I mean that's phenomenal. And I remember when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I saw how his rise. And I was a diehard Larry Bird fan, and just to watch him just kind of take over the league was made me a little bitter, but I understand it. He was fantastic. He's a fantastic basketball player. I don't think he's the greatest of all time, but as far as being in championships go, 6 for 6 with 6 MVPs. I mean, that's hard to beat. But Brady does have 7. So if you want to beat 6, 7 does it. So. Yeah.
I do think, though, in the future when Brady does retire, I think I think Brady would become an owner maybe. And I think if he were to become an owner, I think he'll be a much better owner than Jordan is. I just don't think. Yeah. I think Jordan's like after the Bulls, I think it was kind of like a dip a little bit because of just the Wizards didn't work out, and then the only thing I feel like he did well was get LaMelo Ball this year, and I don't think he's the best owner out there. And I think if Brady becomes one, I think Brady will be a lot better with that, because I think Brady he has that IQ like that as far as other players and making other guys around him better, as we've seen throughout the course of his career, and just what he did with the Bucks this year. The Bucks were terrible, terrible, and they had star players. As soon as he got there, those got the championship, and they made history this year. So I think that's what I think.
The last thing, I know we got to move to another subject. I think the last thing I will say to that is perhaps some of what he's done as an administrator or an executive has been suspect, and it almost goes back to a lot of times, superstar athletes make very difficult coaches, and I think you've seen that, across the genre. I thought Larry Bird was a decent coach, but it's few and far between. But you look at the value of the Charlotte team, and it's definitely gone up in value. And so I think that they're doing some things right. But you're right. I don't believe they've been very competitive. And I do think that Tom Brady, when he decides to retire, he's going to have a future, as an owner if he so chooses. I think he'll certainly be in position to do that. But I go back to what I said before. The fact that Brady is competing at the level that he is competing now, and maybe his stats went down slightly, but you certainly cannot argue with the fact that he led that team to a Super Bowl a few months ago, and he did it in such a way that was very extraordinary.
Right. All right, guys. Next topic. Now, this one for LeBron fans here. Can Steph Curry be the face of the NBA after LeBron retires?
In a word, no.
Okay.
In a word, no.
I think it'll be someone younger.
I don't know. I don't think he can either. As much as personable as Steph is, and as much as everybody likes Steph, and I just feel like I don't know. I don't feel like he has a chest for it. Like
yeah.
I just feel like he just doesn't really carry that weight on his shoulders. That's not really Steph. He's just that lighthearted guy. Everybody likes to be around Steph, and of course LeBron's been the villain his whole career. So he just kind of
made himself a villain. He hasn't really been a villain. He's kind of made himself that way.
I feel like he became the villain because people
WWE like flops and trying to sell fouls.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Hate.
I honestly don't believe that there will be a face. I think it's going to actually be by committee, quite frankly. I don't see anyone that really is an heir apparent. You've got some individuals that, have got a following. If you look at, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Booker, who we referenced earlier. So there's some individuals out there that I think bring credibility to the game, but for them to actually take the entire NBA world on their shoulders, like I think Jordan has, like I think LeBron has, I don't see an heir apparent right now.
Yeah,
I think when it comes to Curry, he revolutionized the game as far as the 3-point shooting, and everyone wants to be a 3-point shooter. And I feel that with Curry, I like Curry. Don't like the Golden State Warriors, but I like Curry. I respect him. But I think Curry doesn't have that grit, if that makes sense. Like, it's like I don't want to call him soft, like, at all. I don't think he's soft. But it's like
he has a different type of game. He has a different type of game.
So I think
different type of game.
Yeah, I think after LeBron, I think there's a lot of question marks on who could take that alpha role. I just think a lot of the guys right now, everyone's kind of joining everyone else. Like, that's what I think is happening. So I'm not sure about Curry. I'm not sure.
I don't think it'll be Curry.
Too, and I don't know how old he is, but I think he's been in the league for a while. I think if he was younger, that he might have had a better chance. But I think he's been very well established in the league, and he's been in there long enough. I just don't see him as the heir apparent. He's good. I take absolutely nothing away from him. But I think Giannis, could, but I think this is just my opinion. I don't think he's with the right team to be able to take that mantle. I think he's gone as far as he can go. I'm surprised he's still there. But I think that if Giannis was in a different market, I could potentially see him as an heir apparent.
Agreed.
I mean, Luka could be that guy. I mean, I think there's a lot of young kids right now that Luka could be that guy. Zion could be that guy. Trey Young, if he gets a haircut, my God, if that kid could just get a haircut, he could be that guy. I don't understand how he can't get a good haircut in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like, there's
some implants in his.
I don't agree. I think it's Zion. Zion's got the propensity to get hurt. I mean, he got hurt at Duke.
Yeah.
He got hurt with New Orleans early in his career. So, I had thought about him just because of his magnetism and his sheer talent. But unfortunately, he has shown himself to be very vulnerable to injuries.
Yeah. But he's got a couple of years. Like I don't think he's like Anthony Davis. I think he's got.
Yes.
I think he has the opportunity to mold his body like Giannis did. You know, Giannis came in real thin, and but I mean he built himself up into an NBA body that can handle 82 games plus playoffs. I think Zion can do that.
I may even contradict myself because you're right. You know, Jordan's second year he missed 63 games with a broken foot. So actually he could. I think the jury still may be out on it.
But I'm like Trae Young. You know what if Atlanta makes a deep run, that kid's going to get a lot of camera time, and
yes.
You know, he's nice. But I can't get past his hair. But I'll watch that kid play. And if he's going to close out series and start bowing on people, you know, as he closes out teams, he's going to create that kind of a Reggie Miller vibe, and you know, he could be somebody. But I think right now, with LeBron taking on his way out in the next couple of years, I would imagine it's going to be kind of wide open. So it's going to be nice to see somebody step up and just like I think Luka could do it. Luka's already developed that Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway jumper that's just a killer. It should be fun.
What about Booker? Do you guys think Booker could be?
You know, it's funny. I would like Booker to be, because I feel like he deserves more attention than he's been getting even prior to this year. You know, so I think I don't know. I feel like Booker can, because I feel like he has that little edge that Steph's missing almost. You know, it's like he has that little attitude. You know, it's like, you know. I mean, we don't get to watch a lot of their games, but all the games I do watch, he has like a little attitude to him.
Yeah,
and, he backs it up. And he's that good that he could be the face of the league. He's got to keep going, and if he starts winning, if they can win it the whole thing, I think. So I think the Suns can win the whole thing if Chris Paul stays healthy. And I mean, you know,
I think that's been the question.
I think that, hey, Jared, I think that's too many questions, man. That's too many questions.
My Lakers. I watched them tear apart my Lakers, and I'm like, okay, they have something here. As long as Chris Paul stays healthy, they have something very special. And
I just even when it comes to health too, like I get frustrated with him and Anthony Davis because those guys are so talented, and it's so important, especially AD. I don't know if he puts in as much work as he should be. Like, I mean, you're with LeBron. LeBron is very, very serious about his body. This guy puts $1 million in his body. He's very serious about that. And I would think that Anthony Davis would have taken notes about that. Like, okay, I see him doing that. I know I had injuries in New Orleans, but you know, is he becoming a reliable person? Because when LeBron does retire as AD, you're going to be that guy now when LeBron retires. So are you going to be it?
That's the big question mark on him is, you know, can he play the whole season?
Exactly.
It's like AD, you're great. I mean, AD can be the face of the league, I feel like, but not if he keeps being injured.
Right.
You know, like that's
all. Be Damian Lillard. I mean, if you look at Lillard and the way he's he's got his music career, he's got about 9 different Hulu commercials and a couple other commercials. Like, I mean, he could be the face of the league, and they're talking about him a lot coming out of Portland because
if he goes to the Lakers, he can be.
I think if he goes to any big market, he probably can be.
Has to be like
go to New York and be just as big, if not bigger.
Yeah, that too. They're talking about New York a lot. The Knicks.
I mean, they're that's close. And if you want to have that matchup, the East Coast West Coast matchup that they used to have, Boston versus Los Angeles all through the 80s and into the 90s. I mean, that's how you get the entire country involved in the NBA Finals. So,
right,
nice.
I agree. Leading into that, final topic of the night. What do you guys? Who is going to be in the finals? I'm still indecisive. I want to know what you guys think about the finals. Like, who's going to be in it?
It's going to be the Nets versus the Jazz.
Nets versus Jazz.
It's going to be Nets and Suns.
I think it's kind of wide open in the West. I think it's kind of wide open in the West, and I'll take the Nets. You know what? All Dookie final. Nets and Jazz. We got Kyrie versus Quinn Snyder. We'll take it.
I love it.
I think that's a second. That's a second, but
it's out of Jazz. I think it's out of Jazz and Suns for me, and I think Brooklyn will pull it out, but it's out of Jazz and Suns to me.
Yeah, I don't think I would like to see the Clippers accomplish something. You know what I mean? Just to be just for once in their entire history. They've been the ugly stepchild in LA for so long. I would like to see them get to a finals just to do something. But I don't know if Kawhi and Paul George really want to get any farther. Like they just seem like they're just content with we'll play basketball for a living. We're good. They don't really chase championships. So
Kawhi's so relaxed attitude just looks like he's just, I don't know, like I'm like, Kawhi, man, he just looks too relaxed. Even though he's killing you, but he looks too relaxed. I don't know.
I remember the summer that he was deciding where he was going to go. I was really rooting for him to go to the Lakers. I was really rooting for it because I'm like, man, I look at Brooklyn now. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like that would have been like 3-on-3 like that.
There's no way.
It was just, but when it comes to the Clippers, like there was so much, I think they're so overhyped in a way, like especially last year. I'm going to be honest. I think the Clippers team last year was much better than this Clippers team this year because you had Harold, you had Lou Williams, you had those guys, and that was a scary team, I'm going to admit. Yeah. But now it just feels like I think the Mavericks should have made adjustments. Porzingis, I don't know what's going on with him. And I just thought that, Luka was like a one-man show. I'm like, okay, anyone else? If somebody else stepped up, they could have beaten the Clippers, I think. But I just think the Clippers have a lot of question marks, and you're playing a very good Utah Jazz team that is not going to be the same at all. So I want to see what they're going to do. Paul George has to be better, like much better than he is.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I think the best series will definitely be the Suns and the Jazz. Mm-hmm. And I think that will probably I can see that series being even better than the finals because they're just so matched up very well. I can see that series going 7. Obviously, they got to get past their next round. But I think it's going to be whoever is in the finals. I do think it's going to be very entertaining. There'll be certainly some storylines that we can really get behind, and it's going to be very entertaining.
What do you guys think about
one thing, and no disrespect to the Laker fans here, I am really looking forward to the fact that we're going to actually have a finals from 2 teams that have not been to the finals. Now, I mean, there's some scenarios that might negate that, but the teams that we think have a good opportunity to go to the finals, I mean, haven't been. Utah hadn't been since the 90s, when Jordan was playing. The Nets never have been, I don't think. Milwaukee, it's been since the 70s. So I look forward to the potential matchups because of these teams who have not been there, if not at all, in a long time.
Yeah. Do you guys think Atlanta could be a dark horse?
I don't.
No.
I think the Nets have way too many answers for that team. I really see, unless somebody really got injured, maybe if Harden can't come back, maybe we're having a different conversation. But I still think the Nets have enough answers, even without Harden, to get to the finals.
Yeah, I think they're lucky that Embiid's hurt. He's
not 100%.
True.
He's not 100%.
If Embiid wasn't hurt, I feel like the Sixers definitely would have taken it, and then we could have talked about, all right. But even still, I feel like the Nets they have just too much. This is what they did. They got all these people to make sure that they're going to win the finals. And if they don't deliver,
it's going to be bad. Very bad.
It's going to be a lost season if they don't win the finals.
It would remind me of the Clippers from last year.
Yeah,
you have to go.
Deliver.
I mean, if the Nets didn't win, it would remind me of the Clippers last year because the Clippers assembled that team to go to the finals, and they fell short. So it's no guarantee. But you're right. It might have been a different conversation if Kawhi had gone to the Lakers. I think we would have definitely had a different conversation.
Definitely.
I think when it comes to the Sixers are, I think, the championship team. But Ben Simmons is, I don't know what his vendetta is against him learning a jump shot. Like, these guys are literally backing up on him. They know that he's not going to shoot. And he's just like, he's so good, but no shot at all. And that I think that's going to hinder their chances at all. And I don't even think him and Embiid will last that long together, honestly.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, how can you be afraid to take a long shot? That's just,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like watching John Lester try to throw back to first base. Like, it's just, it's weird, but it is. I mean, it would be nice. I would like to see Philly, Brooklyn. In the East Coast Finals, it'd be entertaining. I think that'd be 7 battles. But I don't think anybody's going to get in front of Brooklyn unless Kyrie joins Harden on the bench and they're both injured. Yeah. I don't see anybody getting past Brooklyn.
All right, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. This was a great conversation. Plenty more coming. That wraps up our show for tonight. And you guys were great. I really liked you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you, Jasmine. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
anytime. You.